This is your host, Carmen Radford, welcoming you back to another episode of the Calm and Chaos podcast, the space where we discuss motherhood, well-being, and just balancing it all. We cover loads of topics here, so I hope you can find some connection. Okay, here we go. All right. Welcome, Susie. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. I'm excited to pick your brain about all things yoga, well-being, how you tie it together with motherhood. I've been so excited for you to come. So just to give the listeners a little bit of context, you began your journey with yoga prior to having children.
Yes, yeah.
But it has continued and become maybe an even bigger part of your life, and it's actually supported you through pregnancy and postpartum. Tell us a little bit about how you first got into it, and then what's kind of snowballed afterwards.
Okay. So when I first discovered yoga, I was not looking at it from anything other than a physical standpoint. I wanted a good workout. I felt like I wanted to work on my flexibility, and there was very little else that came into it. There was certainly no well-being aspect to yoga.
Okay.
I did not arrive at yoga for that. I came across a form of yoga called Bikram yoga. If you're not familiar,
that's the hot yoga.
That's the hot yoga.
I've tried it.
Oh, have you? There
I've tried
we go.
it. Yeah, I liked it.
So, for those who might not know, you practice yoga in a very, very, very hot room.
Very hot. Sort of overwhelming the first time you go.
So the idea is that you're mimicking the conditions of India. Okay. That's where it came from. Okay. So they heat the room to about 40 degrees, and it's a wet heat, so it's 40% humidity.
Right.
And then, of course, when you've got a room full of people, that humidity skyrockets, and then that
true.
makes it feel hotter.
Yeah.
And what that does is it creates this very intense experience to practice yoga in. So it turns it into a real cardiovascular workout. Right. And because you're hot, your body's all limber. So I went to this Bikram class thinking, I want a really good workout. I'd read something about it's really good for weight loss. I mean, I was 25. I did not need to lose weight. But
it was there.
It was there in the back of my mind. Was, it's great for weight loss. I'm going to go to this yoga class.
That's probably why I went to.
So that's where I arrived at it, and I had this experience. I went with my husband, and it was this incredibly. I mean, you know what it's like. It's incredibly intense. It's
really intense.
And we walked out, and we were like, "My God,
what
was
that?"
And I walked out feeling broken, but with this intense euphoria.
Okay.
Like I felt euphoric afterwards, and I was just like, I need to explore this.
Oh wow!
And so me and my husband carried on and just really started to go quite regularly. He got into it more than I did.
Wow. Okay.
And it just kind of went from there. But it was a real physical experience. And the thing is, a lot of people feel like, I'm not spiritual. I'm not. I just want a good workout, or maybe yoga's not for me. But actually, it's okay if you land at yoga just wanting the physical.
Okay.
And perhaps over time it evolves into something else, or perhaps you just landed it at the physical.
Right. Or there's always those levels in between, something from the physical to the spiritual.
Yeah, you don't just go there. There's a journey to go there. So, and it's okay to land at yoga thinking, I'm not interested in the spiritual side, and I just want to get a bit more flexible. That's fine. And as a teacher, I'll meet whoever, wherever they are and whatever they arrive at.
But heads up, the side effects are really good emotionally.
No, but it has a funny way of creeping its way in. And, this is where I'm going, is that I started with the physical, but over time, there's this little magical element to yoga, which is it's teaching you about yourself constantly.
Okay.
And you start to learn more and more about your body, your experience, the way you respond. And I always say that in a yoga practice is almost like a reflection of you. So how you practice, how you're feeling in your practice, what you want from a practice, it's almost like a little reflection of what's going on in your life, or your personality.
Oh wow. Okay.
Your habits.
Okay.
Whether you lean into discomfort, whether you run away from it, whether you want something intense, whether you want something soft, and you can learn so much. It's like this little reflection. So it has a funny little way of getting under your skin and teaching
that's really
you.
Interesting.
And then, for not everybody, but for many people, it starts to evolve into something deeper.
Okay.
But anyway, so it started off purely physical.
Yeah.
And then And then it kind of grew, and I started wanting to explore yoga on a more deeper level. You're drip fed little tidbits of information about yoga, spirituality, mindfulness, meditation, and having some of those practices. And I just felt like I wanted to find out more.
And you wanted to, so did you want to find out more about like the origins of yoga?
All of it.
Okay,
I
just
everything.
Everything.
Felt like I'd been opened this little Pandora's box.
Cool.
Of this ancient lineage, this ancient practice. I was like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
And it just, like I said, it just got under my skin, and I just felt like it grew and grew.
There was a spark, and you just wanted to go. Amazing. Yeah. Such a good feeling.
I was working in London, quite unhappy doing what I was doing, feeling very burned out, and I jacked it all in around my 30th birthday and ran off to Thailand, trained to become a yoga teacher. Amazing.
That little 30th push.
Yeah, it was. And it was great because my husband was behind me saying, do it.
Cool.
And I don't think I would have done, honestly, if I hadn't have had somebody just saying, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Do it.
Because you were really changing your path, weren't you?
Yeah. I was working in corporate London. Had a very busy career, and I was doing quite well in it. It was a big change, but I just felt very unfulfilled, very burned out, quite unhappy. And I look back to my late 20s and think, gosh, I was having a lot of fun, but my soul was tired. And
now you feel like your soul has been really fulfilled in many ways, and you're still, and it's still a journey, but obviously it's like there's something that's been not healed, but just filling up. Yeah. Filling up a space that really wanted nurturing, I guess. Yeah,
absolutely. There were gaps in my former career. And that's not to say that that's everybody's journey, but for me personally, I knew I wasn't on the right path. Right. I had to rediscover what path I needed to go.
And that takes courage and sometimes a push to do something like that.
And I had no idea whether I'd end up teaching yoga or not, but...
So you went to Thailand, and so what was your experience there? What did you do there? What was your...
It was an intense, I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 weeks long now. It was an intense, month-long course where you covered, the philosophy, the physical practice, how to teach, the business of yoga, and it was just this totally immersive experience. People from all around the world coming together to learn about the practice and basically learning how to teach. There was a lot of practicing teaching. It was the scariest thing that I'd ever done, is learning how to stand up and teach a pose, which sounds silly.
Okay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But you had to go on a real journey. There were so many tears. I wasn't used to... a lot of public, not just for me, but everybody. It's a real intense emotional experience. And you go, whether you teach yoga at the end of it or not, you go on a big journey on a teacher training where you learn about yourself and have to push through boundaries.
So as part of yoga, like say you're not on the path to potentially becoming a teacher, but or if you are, you're pushing out of yourself to eventually sort of come back into yourself in a way.
Well, you're figuring out, you're pushing through all of those restrictions you place on yourself.
And the discomforts.
And putting yourself in, uncomfortable situations, learning new
uncomfortable
skills.
Poses.
Learning those. And physically, it was really demanding.
Okay,
physically.
Really?
Yeah, because we were up, I think we were doing a 6:30 a.m. 90-minute class, then, which was very...
that's long.
Then we were doing another one in the afternoon. There'd be something in the evening.
Wow.
So it was quite an intense physically and then mentally, emotionally. But like the most... if anybody is thinking about doing a teacher training because they enjoy yoga, I would highly recommend, whether you want to teach or not. You'll never regret it.
Amazing. I think anyone who I've known, I have a few other friends who've gotten into teaching yoga, and they have the same profound experience. Yeah. And it just becomes so much a part of their daily life and their practice.
It's hard to explain it. You sort of have to be there. But also, I was practicing with people I was meeting people from all these different countries that I never would have come into contact with.
Yeah, what a fantastic experience too.
All of their own reasons for coming. Yeah. And so it was
that's
fun.
Amazing. And so soon after that, what happened then?
So I came back home, and luckily I was really fortunate that there was a studio in Milton Keynes that I wanted me to teach. So I launched straight into
amazing.
it. And they wanted me to teach for them. I'd been practicing there, And so I launched straight into teaching.
Great.
And that was great because there was no pause. And I think if I'd have had the pause, I would have maybe taught myself out of it. But I came back and
popped right
straight in.
Right.
And it all sort of started going from there. Now, I did get pregnant very quickly. So I was teaching hot yoga. And got pregnant and then realised that...
You can't really do that, can you?
Yeah, some people do, but because of the high temperatures, some people have sort of, taken their temperature in class. I was like, I'm not prepared to do that.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
I'll just not teach hot, and which was great because it encouraged me to go off and train in some other areas. So I trained in the teacher training was in a hot yoga because I'd got into it wasn't Bikram, which is a brand.
Yeah.
It was a more generic hot yoga.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, then I immersed in vinyasa yoga.
Okay.
I did yin yoga training, and I did a pregnancy yoga training, which made sense.
Amazing. I love
that.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to know how to support myself.
Yes.
Through pregnancy.
Yeah, and eventually how to support many others. Amazing.
And I set up my own classes, which was great. And
good for you.
Learning curve. I was doing a lot of different things. So I did 6 months after my teacher training, just working for the studio teaching hot. And then I went off and expanded out a little bit more.
Fantastic. Look at the web that it's turned into. How neat. And so how did it support you when you were pregnant? What were the benefits of it? That's what I'm curious.
From
maybe
a physical perspective, it really helped with some of the physical difficulties of pregnancy. Your aching body,
the discomforts. Yeah.
I used to get, I don't know if anyone else gets it, or it was just a me thing, but I used to get terrible tension headaches and really bad tension.
I'm sure that's
in my
super
neck
common.
and shoulders and upper back, and I think it was my changing physiology. Everything was moving, my weight distribution as the baby was growing shifted, and all of this tension was just like driving up into my head, shoulders and upper back. And yoga really helped
alleviate that.
Yeah, I was doing it daily to really help alleviate some of that. So physically it was great when I got achy hips.
Yeah, the round ligament pains. And
the other thing was really sort of letting go in my body and really sort of having that preparation for birth.
Right.
And sort of working with my body at a bit more of a primal, intuitive, instinctive level.
Which really kicks in when you're giving birth sometimes.
And it really taught me how to tune into those feelings and sensations.
Amazing.
As opposed to sort of waiting for, say, a midwife to say, this is what's happening, you can move in. And it really helped me with that experience of the growing body and letting go and moving into a little bit more of a primal, less logical thinking, more primal, giving birth.
Which you have to do because you can't actually, you don't know exactly what's really going on, but if you can, that's so wonderful. I wish I had been more in tune that way, because I feel like you are really reliant on like Googling or calling the midwife 100 times or going into the doctor, and it's like, well, actually, because I remember with my second pregnancy, I was so much more like, I need to listen to myself, because I think I was right about things in my first pregnancy that you kind of second guess if you're not taking that like pregnant pause. Is that an okay thing to say, right? Like,
But one thing I will say is, and I don't know if it was because I was a newly qualified yoga teacher and I felt there was a way that a yoga teacher had to be, and I've since then broken down all of that. But I sort of felt there was a yoga teacher way to be, and there was a yoga birth, and I had to have a yoga birth. And that yoga birth meant absolutely no interventions. I would breathe my baby out.
Okay.
And I think I kind of set myself up for, not failure, but for not being able to achieve this dream birth that I visualized. And I think I set my heart and put too much pressure on myself. So that was one thing. And if I were to rewind the time, I would just say there's no perfect birth.
I think that transcends.
Let go of what your birth may be.
Absolutely.
Do all of that work leading up, the yoga and the meditation and the mindfulness and the birth preparation and all of that wonderful work. But actually, when it comes to giving birth,
be open.
Be open and don't put that pressure on yourself.
I agree.
there's no perfect birth, and
Yep.
medicine is wonderful and really helpful, just as a totally natural birth is. And it's all,
I think that's so important for people to hear, especially from someone like you who is very in tune with that natural way and being in tune. But I totally agree. I think that's like the biggest thing that I would maybe, if I were to give advice, just say to someone who's, anticipating giving birth, like, have a plan, wonderful, but try to be open-minded, because your body, you don't know what your body's going to do.
I mean, I had a 2-page
birth plan.
I had a 2-page birth plan, and I presented it to the midwife at hospital.
Is this what I'd like, please?
She was very polite about it. She sort of just popped it to the side, and she gave me, she really helped me have as much as I could from that. But
that's really nice.
I think it was more a pressure that I put on myself, and if I could rewind the time, I would definitely just be open, but I think to myself and say there's no, because then I had to go through a process after giving birth of acceptance of, and so it had an offset of putting that pressure on myself. It had sort of a follow through after giving birth, and to come to terms with my body,
all the changes, all the
But being a yoga teacher certainly doesn't mean that you don't have all of these other things that everybody else goes through. I sometimes laugh, because I think the people who come to my yoga classes who don't know me in any other capacity, I wonder what they think that my life is like.
Just like this beautiful array of yoga that and everything is peaceful and
And then if I'm having a day where I'm shouting at the kids,
like, I'm not in my yoga best.
I just think, if they could see me now, but.
But that's, I think,
being a yoga teacher or practicing yoga or being in this sort of more spiritual wellness space doesn't make you perfect. It just means
but you're
that you're
human.
A little bit more aware of what's going
Absolutely. And I think that's what you're the facilitator for. You're the one, you're showing, okay, this is what's possible. Now let's individualize it for yourself. What are you comfortable with? What are your barriers? What are your confidences? And actually no one's perfect. And yes, I'm more of an expert, but we are. And as a school teacher too, I really make a point of saying, even to young kids, I'm not an expert. I'm more trained in this. I have a huge awareness of it. I have my beliefs and values that I really hope that I can instill, because I do think they're very, well-rounded and inclusive and all those things. But actually to show that, no, I'm still human at the end of the day. I still experience all these emotions, but I am really trying hard to practice the most gentle form of being a human and of being a parent or a teacher or a caregiver, all these, and kindness to yourself. I think that's what probably I would come to yoga for, is how can I be more patient with myself? I'm trying hard to be the best parent. I'm trying hard to be the best human. And there's so many pressures and there's so many rushes in the daily life. So actually, I think I was going to save this for the end, but I talked to you a little bit before about how my form of exercise and well-being, since I was little, it's been a really go of sports, a lot of sports that I took really seriously. I didn't find yoga and similar practices until a little bit later, and I have done many classes, but I think my mind space is so much on the high intensity exercise, and stretching is a support to that. But postpartum, I see how crucial it is to have a practice like yoga. So how can I, someone like me, how can I retrain myself to be really open and accepting of this practice and trust the process? Yeah. How can I get into it?
Okay, well, there's a couple of ways.
It's a big question.
It's a big question, and there's a couple of ways you can look at it, which is, one, it's okay if not everybody is into yoga. And I know I'm a yoga teacher.
But I want to be, but yeah.
And I believe passionately for me and many people, you can have these wonderful tools of yoga, but it's okay if ultimately it's not for you. So first, just to put that out there,
Right.
I believe, I used to live in a world where I was like, I just need to convince everybody to do
Come
yoga.
with me.
You come to me and I will change your mind.
Yeah.
And, I'm 10 years in now, and I realise that for some people, they need something else, and that's okay.
Okay.
But in your case, you're saying you really want to really get into yoga. So that's something different. There are loads of different forms of yoga. And so you can throw yourself around a mat, really fast-paced, high-tempo, cardiovascular, vinyasa flow classes, or your hot yoga, where it's more about getting right into your body. And yes, you're not running around a court, but you're really moving quite fast-paced around a mat and doing sort of the crazy.
I do remember liking the flow yoga classes I took. I was like, and then I realized, it's because I'm constantly moving.
And they can be really high intensity practices. It's not the same cardiovascular, well, it can be, depending on how you practice, but you're not out of breath in the same way as you would be if you were playing tennis for the same amount of time. But you're definitely fast paced, moving, more headspace. And then, so that's fine, and that's a way to enter in, but then you still have the grounding, centering practices at the beginning. You're still working the shavasana, which is the relaxation at the end. So you're getting these sort of moments of mindfulness. A good teacher will always be encouraging you to stay with your experience, the sensations, to explore your body. And so all of those concepts of yoga then gradually sort of offered to you, and then it's almost like a little drip feeding of experience and information that over time may then encourage you or mean that you feel ready to do some slower practices, to do to start a meditation practice, or to go to classes where you're practicing but more in meditation. So I don't know if you've practiced yin yoga. You hold floor-based poses
for an extended
3 to 5 minutes usually. It's all floor-based. Intense physically, because if you're doing a deep hip opener and you're holding it for 5 minutes,
that's great though.
A lot of sensation.
Okay.
That's a great way to get into meditation, because you're doing
slowly.
Something. So you're having a real physical experience. It's a very slow, internal, moving inwards experience for you to explore the sensations and the body and mindfulness and meditation, because you're for 5 minutes you're holding a pose, so you're not moving, you're in that present space, so you're kind of forced into that. But what's nice is that for someone who feels that they can't sit cross-legged and meditate in a yin practice, you're doing something,
getting there.
You're practicing and then also working with those mental benefits. But what I'd say is, just try the more dynamic, and then see where it takes you. And don't put so much pressure on yourself. I have to like yoga
to get there.
Because you may have your other forms that give you a similar. It doesn't have to be through a yoga practice. Yoga's wonderful, but and to work on mobility and stability and those wonderful physical benefits. But you may be. It's okay if you just want to use the yoga poses as stretching, but I know you, and you're a very mindful person. You're very aware of yourself, and so you're almost doing that work of yoga even if you're not practicing. Remember, yoga is a way of life. The West has turned yoga into a physical exercise, but yoga it's a philosophy, it's a way of life. So you don't ever have to step on a yoga mat in order to practice yoga.
That's really a lovely way to frame it.
It's about a mindset of paying attention to yourself, to the world around you, your interactions with the world, and being really aware of it, and of how you're moving through this world and what choices you're making. They're conscious choices. As opposed to flying through the world, distracted, not thinking, it all kind of happens around you. Living a yoga life is a little bit more considered.
I love how you said that, and that's just that's so inclusive, and that's just so all-encompassing. And my kids too, and they're very fast-paced too, which I'm really aware of, and I know it's a little bit of a trickle-down effect. I think they see I'm a more fast-paced, but I'm glad that you can say I do try and be really, really mindful in things. And sometimes and I've told you over the years, my kids have yoga mats and I have a yoga mat, and we will do, even if it's 5 minutes, but over the years, they gravitate towards it more. And I see them slow down, and I love doing it with them because I feel calmest when I'm with my kids. And I think, okay, if we're all doing this together, then we're all engaging in the same sort of mindful and calm activity, and that can transcend things. And just the feelings that you have during those practices, those will start to transcend your life, won't they?
And actually, it just reminded me, because someone like you who wants to have some of the more mindful benefits of yoga, but maybe, enjoys running around, active sports. I have this little this is my personal practice motto, that my meditation, I did a mindfulness meditation training, and my teacher, when I was talking to her about how I just don't want to meditate every day, and this wasn't that long ago. I was saying it's really hard. Some days I'm good with it.
Okay.
Other days, every fibre of my soul is resisting sitting on that mat.
Right.
And she was like, "Yeah, totally." Like.
Oh, okay. You were like,
and she's
that's okay.
She's like she would never say she was, but she's like a master meditator. She's
amazing.
She's really cultivated this big practice, and she was saying just 2 minutes. That's your goal.
Okay.
Just 2 minutes. So I have like my JTM.
Just 2 minutes. Okay, yes. Tell me about this.
And my JTM is my just 2 minutes rule. This is something just for me. This is the first time I've spoken about it with anyone else.
Oh, okay.
And it's the just 2 minutes rule, which means that I only have to meditate or practice yoga for 2 minutes a day. That's my goal. Now, what happens is that 2 minutes, will always end up, or not always, but most often will end up being 5 minutes, 10 minutes, sometimes 20, sometimes longer. But I'm not saying that I'm doing 20 minutes, because I may not be able to do 20 minutes every day. And if I put 20 minutes as a benchmark, I'm only going to set myself up to fail.
Yeah, the intrinsic goal, the intrinsic success.
Then that then shifts your perspective of and relationship to whatever practice is. Like, so
you don't want it to shift to becoming negative,
so that
or like
I'm failing,
disconnected. I'm
failing because
JTM.
So even though you often do more, and sometimes I don't, but all I have to do is 2 minutes a day of something,
awesome.
Whether it's mindful movement, a little bit of stretches, whether it's just standing in my kitchen while the kids are running riot in the next room and just doing some very grounding breaths.
Do you have a breath exercise that you could share?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I can do just a really simple breathing practice, and this is a practice that, when I say like the kids are running riot, and you have
to still be aware of it.
And I'm at the maybe one of those days you're a little bit
caught up in it a little bit.
Caught up and a little bit wired, and feel like you may
crash
and shout
pretty quick.
Sometimes
we've
need
all
to
been
crash
there.
and shout.
Yes.
And there's days when you know that crashing and shouting is not going to be beneficial for anyone, particularly not yourself. You can take yourself away, but I often just take myself for moments in a day and do a very simple grounding practice.
Okay.
And it's nothing revolutionary. It's just a simple breath practice.
Okay, I think that's what most of us need, honestly.
Okay.
Go for it.
Do you want me to teach?
Yes, teach me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first, so I want you to sit down.
Okay.
I want you to feel your feet grounding on the floor. So if you've got your legs crossed, uncross them. You can do the standing up. You don't have to. You can do it lying down. But we're both seated. So if you are seated, then I want you to have both feet on the floor.
Okay.
Feel your seat bones resting down into whatever you're sitting on.
Okay.
Take a deep full breath in. Elongate the spine so the crown of the head feels like it's rising up. Softening into the shoulders. Unhinging the jaw. Softening the lips and the cheeks and the whole space around the eyes, and just soften. just moving your attention inwards. So paying attention to the breath. Noticing the breath in and the breath out and that gentle ebb and flow. And you don't need to change the breath in any way. It's about paying attention. Now, of course, if you're feeling that your breath is very quick, a bit rapid, all up in your chest, you can start to work to elongate it slightly. But don't force the breath, just allow the natural flow of breath in and out through the nose. Feel that grounding support beneath your feet. And then just staying in this space, you can feel the breath as a movement in your body, so feeling the chest rise and fall, the belly expand and soften. Feeling any sensations associated with your breathing. Notice where you feel the breath in your body. Is it up a little bit higher in the nose or the throat or the chest? Or is it a little bit further down in the body? If it's higher up and it feels shorter and sharper, can you see if you can guide the breath a little bit deeper down into your body, into your belly? And just spending however long here, just a couple of moments, a couple of minutes. And then when you do feel ready, take a deep, full breath in through the nose. And a lovely big sigh out of the mouth. You might do that a couple of times. And then when you feel ready, if the eyes have closed, you can slowly blink them awake.
I can already feel lighter. And not that I was like super tight before, but...
And that's JTM. Just 2 minutes. That is enough.
Yeah.
That's just enough. And it really helps calm everything down. It shifts you out of your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight and flight, into your parasympathetic nervous system. And it lets you move into that space which is less reactive, more considered.
Yes.
And then we can maybe then you walk back into the chaos of food flying around the room.
Yeah, but you feel calmer, and it's the calm and the chaos.
The calm and the chaos. You're better able to just cope in that moment. And, you don't have... I don't know how long that was, like a minute or so. But it can be 30 seconds, just a few deep breaths. You don't need to close your eyes, find a seat, ground your feet. But I would say it's always really good just to feel the feet on the floor. It's incredibly grounding. And that's not
literally
woo-woo yoga speak. It's incredibly grounding to feel that support beneath you and just paying attention to that.
And I think you're right. I think 2 minutes, that can be a small goal, but actually it's just reminded me, literally taking that breath has reminded me that in parenting, I've reminded my kids when they're in an emotional state or situation, I say, hey, should we take a breath? And it took a while, the repetition of that. But then I did start to see, probably over the last year, each of my kids, when they're feeling emotional or reactive, there are times when they, on their own, they go, Mom, I'm going to take a breath.
Oh, I love that.
I know.
I love that.
It gives me chills thinking of that little, my daughter and my son. And my son can have really big emotions, it's slightly more reactive, and it's the big emotions of a 5-year-old. But when I see in his eyes, he'll look me in the eyes and he goes, I'm taking a breath. And he takes a big breath, and you can see a little bit of calm wash over him. You can see him become more present. And same with my daughter, and she's only just turned 4. And even over her year of being 3, she'll say, Mom, I'm going to take a breath. And sometimes she giggles or something because it snaps you out of that reactive sphere around you, doesn't it?
100%.
Just doing that breath with you when I kept my eyes closed, and when I opened them, just everything seemed calmer around me.
Yeah.
Like the energy shifts when you do that. And this whole thing has been really calming for me, but that's amazing.
And actually, maybe you can give me some tips, because this is something that I see with my children, which is that I have learned these tools that I'm working with, and I'm trying to show and demonstrate them, but I see that in those moments they're really struggling, and sometimes I'm finding it challenging to share what I need, and maybe that's the teacher in you that really helps get on their level and helps them understand. But you know, I find it really challenging seeing them, knowing that if we just close our eyes and ground for 2 breaths, you'll feel a lot better.
Well, I
think
maybe
you can give me some tips.
I don't know. I think you've got all those tools, but I think I do think the first step is what you're saying, is to, if you can, however quick you can, become centered in those moments, because I think, you know, as parents, you take on their emotions because you're, whoa, why are you feeling this way? How can I fix it? Or how can I'm feeling that way, or whatever it is. I think I started with laughter when I saw the big emotions. I think in the beginning, the breath made them giggle a little bit.
Yeah.
In a lovely, light way.
No, it does.
Yeah.
That's so true.
But it's
because
become
sometimes
more
when you
serious.
do this formal practice, particularly if you're not used to that, you feel a bit silly doing it. All these big long sighs out, and you know, it feels alien.
And then it's new, and it's new, like you said. But laughter is laughing and crying are such big releases. My favorite songwriter, Joni Mitchell, she said, laughing and crying, you know, it's the same release. And so when you feel those big emotions, that breath is becoming a release for you. And that's what I see in my kids. And this wasn't overnight. This was like the continuous reminder of, hey, should we take a deep breath just for a second? And then we can get back to how you're feeling, the situation, whatever. But can we take a deep breath? And it was their practice over and over when, like, I can't tell them, hey, take a deep breath and you'll feel better right away. That's not the fix all, and I'm not trying to fix it. I want them to feel those emotions. But it's those reactions when you kind of see, okay, you have to get recentered to face those emotions, to feel those, and to become more self-aware. And I'm so proud of them for being so amazing. Little and going, Mom, I'm taking a breath.
Yeah, the fact that they are saying, Mom, I'm taking a breath.
And they smile a bit. It's lovely.
That.
Yeah.
Goals,
oh, good.
Goals.
I'm so, yeah, it is goals.
I think we spoke about it before. It's the power of the pause.
Okay, that's what my next question was. What is the power of the pause?
Well, it's exactly this.
Okay.
It's the pause before you react.
Right.
The being more considered. So taking a little breath.
Yeah.
Pausing. Don't sort of just dive into everything. It's really about, and you know, I think we've spoken a lot about it, but the name that I would give it is
that's
the
how we can
power
title
of
it.
The pause. It's just stopping. And you know, if we're comparing it to dinner time when it's all got a bit crazy, no one's eating that lovely, delicious, nutritious food.
Yeah.
You're feeling it's the end of the day. You're a broken woman.
Between like 4 to 6.
Yeah, the hours of 4 to 6 p.m. It's like going into battle. A lovely battle, but battle.
Yeah, battle
same.
Nonetheless.
And you know, you're at the end of your tether, and that is the time when you lose it because you're tired. You've put a lot of effort into cooking a nice dinner.
In the day,
yeah, and there's a lot going on, and you know, particularly if you've got younger children, there's a big build up to this moment when. They're then refusing to eat their dinner.
And then that's stressful. And you're like, but you need to eat. And then there's the whole conversation of nutrition.
But you've eaten a million snacks today. What about the vegetables? And that's when, I know certainly for me, is when I'm most likely, or maybe bath time, that crazy madness after bath. You know, it's less, now they're a little bit older, it's less the eating and it's more...
Bedtime. Yeah.
And they're always crazy around bedtime and just have that real energy that they need to work out. And when I'm tired, it's hard.
Yeah, of course.
But it's about just pausing taking yourself out of the room, breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you can do it in there, but often for me, I need to just go and remove myself temporarily. Sometimes there may be a swear word.
We all do. I suggest under your breath, but whatever floats your boat.
And then a few deep breaths, just get it out.
Yeah.
And then a few deep breaths or a little practice, whatever it might be. Or sometimes I would just go and do a little circle around the garden.
Sure.
And then come back in.
Yes.
And that is the pause, the power of the pause. Because instead of flying back in and losing it, you're just removing yourself. And once you, and also the other big thing is recognizing. So there's a really big thing about as soon as you recognize that you're feeling something, it immediately softens it. So if you can put a label on and saying, I am feeling really angry.
Angry, frustrated, overwhelmed. And
as soon as you've put that label on it, you've almost created a little bit of distance between yourself and that emotion.
Right.
Because you've labelled it. So you've stepped
doesn't have to be all encompassing. You're just like, I'm human, this is the emotion.
This is the emotion I'm feeling. So you almost label it. And then that creates a bit of space.
Okay.
And it might not completely get rid of that emotion because you're feeling it, and it's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel whatever it is. You know, every emotion is okay to feel. It's just an emotion. But for the more difficult ones where you feel like you might blow, the more reactive ones. As soon as you create that little bit of space, then you're able, hopefully, to make a wiser decision about what are my next steps. Okay, I'm feeling this. Why am I feeling this?
What's going to be my next move?
What's my next move?
And
so instead of and it's really good if you're having an argument with your partner or whatever. We all get caught in that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if you can just take a little moment, you know, in those little pauses. Feeling that it's all bubbling up, that rage that might be bubbling up inside.
Your blood pressure's raising.
And have you ever had an argument where halfway through it's really bad and then suddenly you burst out laughing?
And you're like, I don't even know what's going on right now.
And then you just look at each other and it's almost like that. You just remove yourself from it, dissipate that little pause. And then you're better able to handle it. And then, you know, no one's perfect. It's all a learning curve.
Okay, this is,
I was going to say, I know you were saying earlier, where, as a teacher, like, I'm still learning too. And I go back to the children, I often say that to them. So if I have a bad day and I'm really overreact badly to something, or I do something that, as a parent, maybe you're not the proudest of, or whatever it might be, and I say to the children, if I, you know, and I do apologise to them.
Me too.
Because I think it's really important.
100%.
I'm not always right. And you're teaching them it's okay to not always be right. And so I'll go to them and I'll say, I'm learning how to be a parent. This is the first time I've done this. I'm learning too. I don't do it perfectly. We're all in it together.
And look, I'm this much older than you, and I still don't know how to regulate my emotions. You certainly won't know yet, but let's do this together. This is so nice for me to hear that you say label the emotion. I remember the more, like, they're learning to talk so much more at this age and express themselves. And I think in my head, I was like, I want him to express to me more now that he can talk more. And I remember saying to him when he gets frustrated, I say, how are you feeling? Tell me how you're feeling. And I'll say, I'm angry. And I'll get him to say, I'm angry if he wants to. And I'll say, like, I'm feeling really frustrated. And like you said, I will label it and I will name that. And then it's there. And then I feel like I'm just trying to cultivate some kind of like discourse around it, the conversation of how to express yourself.
Oh, that's really valuable. Honestly, I really firmly believe in it. And this is a technique that in the same mindfulness meditation training I did, I feel like I learned more in that than any other training I've done. I apply it obviously to my teaching of yoga, but really about life. And it was about, you know, and it was applied in the context of labeling is really powerful in meditation.
Okay.
So if you're feeling an emotion, label it, maybe then explore it. Why am I feeling that? Why might that be? Give yourself a bit of compassion.
Grace,
There's an amazing meditation called Rain.
Okay.
It's by a wonderful meditation teacher called Tara Brach.
Okay, I can pop that in on the Instagram,
and it's a rain meditation.
Okay.
And
RAIN?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so if you're having, and it's really good when you're having some difficult thoughts about something.
Okay.
Really struggling through something, feeling upset, angry, whatever it might be, it can be applied to. So R in rain is recognize. So recognize how you're feeling. Recognize this label. This is how I'm feeling. I am feeling angry, or whatever it might be. And then accept. I am feeling angry, and that's okay.
That's okay.
It is an emotion.
Right.
It's okay to feel angry. It's just an emotion that I'm experiencing right now.
Yeah.
Or it might be acknowledge. I'm not sure if they call it accept or acknowledge, but it's both the same.
Yeah.
Investigate for I.
Why am I feeling this way?
So the I of rain is investigate.
Okay.
Why am I feeling angry? Why is that feeling there for me? What is it that's making me feel this way?
Yeah.
And then N is nurture.
Okay.
Offer yourself, and this is the really important part.
Yeah.
And it's all about offering yourself some nurture and nourishment. Yeah. It's okay. This must be really hard for you to feel this way. This isn't a nice feeling. And have these little mini conversations in your head.
Well, because the alternative is like going against yourself, say, like pushing it down, and that's the danger, isn't it? I feel like a lot of us are conditioned to be like, I can't feel angry, and I can't express anger, and I can't acknowledge it and experience it. But surely it's better to become comfortable with that, and because otherwise, how do you know how to navigate it?
Yeah,
right?
And it's okay to feel like
emotions.
Yeah, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But the key is that last one, because a lot of people might stop at investigate. Why am I feeling this way?
Yeah. Okay, how do we nurture that?
To carry on into that final stage, which is nurture or nourishment, which is just giving yourself a little bit of compassion. Yeah. It's okay to feel this way. It's understandable why you're feeling angry. It's okay. And just give yourself a little bit of love. Yeah. You're doing the best you can.
Okay, love this.
All of that. And then that's a little way to really explore when you're feeling really difficult feelings about something. You know, we have those moments when you're feeling something really, you have a person that just gets under your skin, or
and you feel overwhelmed by the emotion.
Yeah, and then you're feeling guilty and bad because you're feeling this and this and that. Blah, 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 blah. This is a really good way to, and you can do that in 2 minutes.
JTM. Back to the JTM. You can do anything in 2 minutes.
And I know everyone listening will be like, but I wanted to talk about mobility and stretchy hamstrings. But actually,
those are side benefits.
Yeah, but in the calm and chaos, how you're navigating parenthood. Yeah. It's these other tools that are really, really beneficial. The other tools are yoga. The physical, wonderful. You're going to be able to roll around on the floor with your kids and get flexy hamstrings and all of that. But you know, the real benefit, and this is why when you say, "Oh, I just don't know about an actual yoga practice, whether I can calm down," it's okay.
Not necessarily.
It's not necessary.
Okay.
If you really want to, great, go for a dynamic class over time. You might think, oh, I'm ready for something a little bit more soothing. Let's try it.
Amazing.
But it's okay if that's not for you.
Okay, that's so enlightening.
There's lots of other ways you can be practicing all of these amazing skills of yoga, of self-awareness, and all of those other skills without ever stepping on a mat.
Okay, I love this. I think that, this is such a nice, I'm going to ask you if you have anything else to share, but I just love how, not a full summation, but I think from a parenting perspective, I am always thinking about the, kind of the sad days when your kids aren't going to come to you all the time, and when you're not so involved in their daily lives. And even now with them going to school, I miss them so much, and I always think, how am I going to prepare them to face situations by themselves, with themselves? How are my kids going to react that way? How are they going to nourish themselves? And I so hope, that is just my whole outlook. If I'm not here, and not in a sad sense, but, or maybe in a sense, you don't know, but I just want to hope so much that they have those tools instilled in them as they grow, that they can continue to refine those tools and have it in them to know how to recenter, to trust themselves with their emotions, to be comfortable sitting in those emotions and navigating life that way.
And some of the most resilient people that you meet are emotionally resilient. And that's almost like the most important skill I feel like you can teach a child is emotional resilience. So that they can handle. We can't wrap our children up in cotton wool. And in fact, we shouldn't. We should they should experience difficult things. Within reason. But you know what I mean? Like, we can't take all that away. But what we can do is help them build those tools, not by us doing it for them.
No, exactly.
By helping them build those resilience tools. And you can give them these little tools and techniques.
And modeling a little bit, obviously, if they see us.
That's so important. But and helping them to build resilience so that they are able to deal with the big bad world as and when they grow up, or even as children when they go into different schools, handling friendships and difficulties with school, and sort of guiding them and how to be able to handle the bad stuff, the difficult stuff. And I do think there's a whole thing, and I feel myself doing it, wanting to take their difficulty away.
Of course. Take away their pain. I don't want them to feel anything bad.
Now I'm trying to transition into a place is like, you can do more. You can handle this difficult thing, whatever it might be.
And I'm here. And you're only little, and right now I'm here, but yes, you can.
Because they're never going to learn
empower
if
them.
You don't allow them to.
And and that's the scariest thing as a parent is not letting go, but in some ways letting go, and seeing them sit in those emotions. But kids are really resilient too, like you say. So if we build on that,
and also just from watching them, grow. Let them go and climb that. Whatever tree.
Our kids do climb that tree.
Let them climb the tree.
They're
never going to learn how to manage their safety.
Or the fear.
Or the fear. And if they fall, how they deal with the pain of falling. They're never going to learn any of those skills of how to cope if they're not experiencing it. So let them climb the tree. Let them go on that piece of play equipment that you might think, ooh,
it's scary.
Within reason, you know what I mean. But within reason, let them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is so enlightening. I've already learned so much about so much. Just yoga. You've really opened my eyes to how yoga is that full life practice. And I appreciate that you acknowledge that you can draw these values from many different activities, from many different parts of life. What a wonderful transition into, if you want to get into something like yoga. That's just... You've made it sound so wonderful. And I just really appreciate it.
Oh, well, no, thank you. And and I don't really need to talk about the physical benefits because everyone knows. It's great for stability. It's great for flexibility. It's it's going to help give you longevity.
Yes.
From a physical perspective, really help you feel good in your body for longer. And but I guess my message is there's so much more than just
that you can get from
that, and really getting some of these tools, and that all come from yoga. A lot of these mindfulness practices come from Buddhism and yoga philosophy. And then they get given a scientific Western name, but actually a lot of it is all coming from these ancient philosophies. It's really fascinating.
Absolutely.
And this philosophy was all created, thousands of years ago. These yogis, thousands of years, these people,
and we're still trying to,
and it's still so
get
relevant
the wisdom
today.
Yeah, of course.
It's really interesting.
Of course. And I think it's so interesting too, like even so you get into it for the physical well-being, while you're gonna have some beneficial mental side effects, or you get into it for the mental and emotional well-being, you're gonna have some physical benefits, right? So whatever's drawing you in, it's that holistic approach that's really going to benefit your life, isn't it?
And it's okay, like you can't get out to a yoga class because you've got a 18-month-old child. It's okay, like you go with the ebb and flow. And I think one of your questions is, how did you manage yoga when the children came? Well, my yoga practice changed completely.
Right.
You know, I just had to learn to accept that my yoga practice was never going to be quite the same as it was pre-children. And it teaches you how to go with that ebb and flow and say it's okay, and let go of expectation.
Because your life will keep changing, and you need to be more present, and your kids are only small for a short time, and you can get back into work and the practice, and obviously you have, because I mean I've known you a few years now, and I haven't seen all your yoga practice, but I have seen how it weaves into motherhood, and you've talked to me about that, and I know that you are doing it a lot more again. But that's like, I've seen you lean into this and lean into motherhood more, take a step back from work. Kids are okay, well, they're at school full time, okay, I'm going to lean into work a bit more where I can. And in all those ways, you've made it really beneficial in all the steps you take. So and it's inspiring.
It's well, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. But it's funny when I laugh and go back to that. Yeah, I wanted to lose a bit of weight, and that's why I went to that yoga class.
How great, though.
Yeah.
And that's what we just said. You connected with something. Yeah.
And that's why whenever somebody comes and says, I just want to have nice hamstrings, then I can can touch my toes. I'm like,
just
great.
You wait, though. Wait for your journey.
You in. And then before you know it, you'll be signing up for a teacher training.
I love it, and the world will become yoga teachers. That would be a really peaceful world.
That's it. Everybody's a yoga teacher.
Yeah.
Everybody. There were so many. When I first graduated, there weren't a huge amount in the local area. Now they're everywhere, but
obviously
it's because
people
it
are connecting with it.
People, and at this day and age where people are getting less connected, it's a way for people to feel connected. So I feel like hopefully it's going to transition away from this very distracted, less connected place where people are yearning for more connection.
Okay, well, you've put me off the hook. Like, you've taken the pressure off me from starting, but now I'm going to go and put my foot in it and say, I'm going to start slowly practicing, and when I have you back on, we're going to talk about my journey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. That's 100%. Setting myself a goal here.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you don't have to go out to a studio. I mean, as a yoga teacher, of course, I want people to come and pay money to come and practice in person.
Yeah.
But if you're dabbling, exploring, the wonderful is there's loads of free resources. YouTube is your best friend when you're starting out, or just don't have that capacity to fully commit. You can do a 15-minute class online.
At the same time, a class in person is super motivating, isn't it?
I would say, like if you can get out to a class too. Because it's a totally different experience. But
do you want to share where you work?
Oh, okay.
Go on.
Currently I teach at a studio called White Space, which is in Stony Stratford in Buckinghamshire. It's a fabulous studio. It's a huge, big community of yogis. It's Pilates, yoga, wellness in general. And it's a fabulous studio to work for, and I'm really thankful to work there. Okay. And then I also run my own workshops and events separate in and around sort of Leighton Buzzard.
You do some incredible workshops.
Leighton Buzzard and sort of surrounding area.
And you're even doing a big workshop.
I'm hosting a retreat.
Right.
So that will be in October.
Incredible.
And so, that's in Portugal. So I'm very excited for that.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to put all your links up on the Instagram post I do for your episode, so everyone can check you out online or in studio if they wish. And I think everyone's going to take just so much away from this. So thank you so much for being here.
No, thank you for having me. It's been really great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions about any of the topics we covered here today, please email me at calmandchaospodcast@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram at calmandchaospodcast. That's it for today. See you next time.